Hello everyone, it's Fred again from Notes of a Nomad, video number 162, where I share with you what happened in the last week in Nepal, which is week number 6. I spent the week in a town called Nepalgunj. It's a little bit to the west, close to the Indian border, and is apparently one of the hotter cities in Nepal. It went over 30 degrees while I was there, which wasn't too bad, but this week apparently it's going up to over 40. So I missed the extreme heat, and I'm now in a cooler part of the country, which I'll explain to you shortly where I am and how I got here. So let me share my screen and show you some pictures of the past week. And this was the school assembly. The school was known as Spring Dell Academy, had over about 500 students or so. And I had the opportunity to address the assembly. The principal, who I'll introduce to you shortly, was very generous and said, "Oh, why don't you want to speak? Would you want to speak to them?" And I spoke to them about creating positive habits to help you study, etc., and do accomplish things in your life. Make good habits if you want to learn how to play music or dance or study. You can create good habits, which helps in that regard. Anyway, after you'll see the young lady here has the pole flag and holding it during the assembly. And this was the principal, Sarad Rawal, who's very, very generous, very hospitable, always looking after me, making sure I had food, making sure everything's fine. Make sure that you drink the correct water. We don't want you to get sick. So he was wonderful and very supportive and very involved and seemed to be very enthusiastic about the program. So you'll see some of the pictures. He appears on occasions in there. This was practicing with the students, learning how to do impromptu speaking, prepared speeches, giving feedback, etc., what we do in Agora. And we had up to 60 students, and I had them for about 3.5 hours each day, which was quite remarkable, the amount of time they made the students available for this program. And another day again, and another few sessions with 60 students at a time. We broke them into groups, and one group would watch the other group, and that seemed to work very well. And there's the principal, Sarah, taking pictures and videos, which he posted quite often on his Facebook page. And he also said, "Hey, come to the puja," where there was a celebration of life, a young fella who turned maturity, and they had the Hindu uh, priests and all sorts of functions and singing and lots of food, as you can see on the table. And there was this display and I guess offerings of food, etc., to some of the Hindu gods, I would imagine. And they had these fires going as well inside under the tent, where they were having their celebration, and these ladies here were dishing up food, and there was plenty of food, as typical in Nepal uh, function. And this was the poster they created for the school youth orientation, where they invited other schools to watch what these students had learned during the week. And SDA stood for Spring Dell Academy. And there was the vice principal, Beena Singh, giving a great introduction to what they're about to see and encouraging the other schools to uh, find out why these skills are so important. So she did a wonderful speech in that regard. And there was a TV cameras here. Apparently the local TV covered some of the activities. And so this was supposed to be shown on local television station. And at the end, we asked the attendees to complete a form. I got over 40 forms, and some of this young people's comments about, the fact that speaking in front of people wasn't easy, but they were learning from Agora Speakers International to gain confidence. And this one was from a student who just attended and said it was an awesome program that he saw. It was the first time he came from another school. So we got some positive feedback, and at the end, we took pictures with some of the school students at Spring Dell Academy, but then also from the other schools as well. So with that was we also went around to uh, at the end, that Friday night, again, Sarad Rawal, the principal, and his son, and we went and visited where the Indian border was. So showing a lot of the traffic going to and from India. I didn't go across the border because probably would have to pay for a visa just to pop over. But and then after that, the next day I was working away trying to catch up on some correspondence when I was told, hey, bus is going to Pokhara where you're going. I had half an hour to quickly pack up. And by the time I had packed up, the bus was waiting for me. Now they had stopped the bus and they were, anyway, wouldn't normally happen in other countries, but here that did. So uh, there was pictures of Sarah giving me gifts and saying, goodbye, and him on the bus saying, have a good trip, and a picture of me getting ready to go on the 20-hour trip that it took to go to Pokhara, where I am now. So I left on 4 p.m. on Saturday afternoon and arrived at noon in Pokhara. Uh, and it's only about 410 kilometers. So it looks like we averaged 20 kilometers an hour. Well, we went over that rough and ready uh, bus trip that I had previously a few weeks ago and went over that road. So that was very slow. And then another thing that occurred that there was at least an hour's delay. There's only single lane traffic. The road could only take single lane traffic where they were doing construction, but there's no flagman saying, okay, this side can go and then that side. So both sides were trying to go over the single road and it was chaos. So they had to go and try and sort it out. And the conductors on the bus were trying to redirect. So that took at least an hour in one case just to sort out the traffic jam caused because there's no flag person doing single lane traffic. So with that, I'll stop sharing. My camera went crazy. The computer went crazy, showing all sorts of things. But with that, I'll say adios, au revoir, and I'll explain to you what's going on in Pokhara, which is another interesting town. And I'll be spending not so busy of a week because a lot of the students are very heavily involved in examination for at least the whole week. So it's exam time. So with that, I'll say adios, au revoir, wishing you, your family, and friends lots of love and laughter. Until next time, bye for now from Fred in Nepal.